Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to our fantasy football weekly advice. Today we are doing waiver wire ads for week 11. Last week we did sit start. Hopefully we helped you guys with your fantasy. We definitely got some picks wrong. You're back. We did waiver wire pickups 2 weeks ago. We were pretty successful in some of those pickups. This week, I feel like there's a big week for waiver wire, especially with playoffs looming. There's a lot of players that are potential playoff winners. Quickly before we start, I wanted to let you guys know we have started a website. Is not public yet. It will essentially have our Instagram. We will start writing articles. It is exclusive content, and we will have our YouTube link there. All of that. It's kind of a website for the Sports 2 podcast, Instagram. It will have all of our links, and we will have articles. Me, Serge, Dylan, and Charlie all will be writing articles weekly on football. Me, mainly fantasy. So yeah, if you guys enjoy that kind of stuff, you guys really, you enjoy our channel, you enjoy us talking, make sure to go over there. I believe by the time this video is up, I'm recording this as of Tuesday night, so it should be up tomorrow around Wednesday morning. It will be linked in the description if it is up. Make sure to go over there. You can make an account as well. You can post your own articles, and you can DM us on Instagram if you want to make your own articles over there. So yeah, sorry if that was a bit long, but that is our website. It should be up soon as well. Comment any fantasy advice, and let's get into our fantasy week 11 waiver wire pickups. Number 1, this player, if he is on your waiver wire, you need to add him. In my league, he's been picked up for a while. Nyheim Hines, the running back from the Indianapolis Colts, having a monster week against the Titans. 12 rushes for 70 yards and 5 receptions for 45 yards. With Jonathan Taylor, production starting to get a bit worse. He's starting to fumble a little bit. Not only Nyheim Hines PPR gold with the reception volume he can get, he might be getting a lot more rushes and could be seeing 50 to 60 yards or plus every single game. Plus those receptions, that's absolutely incredible. You need to pick him up. High-end flex and a good RB2 option. He's just a productive. He's getting red zone throws. He's getting receptions. And he could be a league winner. I'm seeing a couple more top 15 RB weeks. And he can rip through decent to bad defenses. And with T.Y. Hilton not playing well, and with Marlon Mack out, he's just going to be really productive. And he has been. So go pick up Nyheim Hines. That should be your number 1 player you should be going for. Of Kalen Ballage, and man, I haven't talked to him about a lot. He's been around, was on the Jets, now he's on the Chargers. Last week I was a bit hesitant on him, but why I love him is because he has high value with Eckler out. Eckler shouldn't be out for that much longer, so get him while you can. He's established himself as a number 1 back in Los Angeles. With Justin Jackson going on IR as well, he's getting a lot of volume. 15 to 18 attempts in his last 2 games, which is incredible. And in his last 2 games, he hasn't gotten less than 15.2 points, which is really good. He's getting touchdowns, which is important. He's a really high-end flex option as an RB2, and I feel like he's a player that really shouldn't be picked up, and people were definitely taking a risk if they picked him up last week. I only talk about his matchup against this poor Jets defense. He should be getting a lot of points, and on the high end, he could be getting 20 points. He could have a big game. You're looking at 15 to 18 attempts. He's a solid running back. Go pick him up now. And, with a couple players on bye, I think he could fill in very well at flex or RB2 spot. Jacoby Myers, the wide receiver from the Patriots, and Cam Newton, his production was really bad, and now it's starting to pick up, which is why you want to start picking up Jacoby Myers. He is, I think you could say now he's the wide receiver 1 in New England. And he's just he gets a lot of catches, gets a lot of targets, which again in PPR leagues, that is what you need from a receiver. He hasn't got less than 10.2 in the last 4 games, and again, that's something I look in with players. If a player gets 30 points 1 game, I'm not telling you guys to pick him up. Like Reece James, the wide receiver from the 49ers, I was telling some people to pick him up, and again, just didn't do well. You're looking for consistency. 10 points plus, that's incredible, especially for a waiver wire player. And he's just getting a lot of production with this injured wide receiver core. And with Cam coming back to good form, he's starting to play well. He could be getting a lot more targets. He got 12 catches against the Jets secondary, and that was one of his best games. And he's playing another bad secondary in the Texans. And I know the Browns obviously were not played well against them. That game was one of the weirdest games I've ever watched, 7-10. And he's getting at least 58 plus yards a game, which is already 5 points you can add, and then add on to that 5 receptions, 10 points. You're set to go. Go pick up Jacoby Myers. I love his matchup versus the Texans. I think he's going to be a good wide receiver. You're looking at wide receiver 25 weeks, wide receiver 25 for a couple weeks. So go pick up Jacoby Myers, wide receiver of the Patriots. Good flex wide receiver 2 option. Someone coming out of the draft that I was high on, Michael Pittman, who as well has a YouTube channel. That's why I know him. And I really, really love just his size. He's a 6'5 receiver. So has that ability to just catch it over players. That kind of Mike Evans ability. Obviously, he's not as good as Mike Evans yet. Someone I was high off coming out of the draft, 2nd round pick, and he's starting to build up a bit of fantasy value. Last week against the Titans, had 100 yards. And now he has a good matchup against a very, very injury-ridden secondary. The problem with him here is I think the floor here might be a bit worse. So this is a player where if people like Jacoby Myers aren't there, or some of the other players I'm going to get to after this, wait for Michael Pittman maybe next week, see how he does this week, then pick him up. But I still think this week he's a good flex option. If he plays to some extent, if he gets 80, 90 yards and then gets a touchdown, he's a really, really good receiver option. Someone off the waiver wire I don't think a lot of people are looking to get. So I think he could be a steal here and could be one of the better players for the rest of the season. With T.Y. Hilton producing absolutely awfully, I think Michael Pittman could fill that spot well. If, Philip Rivers starts to trust him, there's a lot of yards there. There's a lot of potential for points there. And he could be, again, someone who can just get you a lot of points and get you wins in this late part of the fantasy season. Wayne Gallman. Obviously, he's on bye this week, but it doesn't matter. You want to pick him up before people get him for next week. This is a league-winning, playoff-winning player. He is now, I would definitely say, the established RB1 with New York. And I just think with Daniel Jones not being the best thrower of the ball and just not having, this might be controversial, not having as many red zone targets. They don't have that big receiver. They've been running it a lot when they can. This offensive line has gotten a lot better, which is something amazing to see as a Giants fan. Obviously, with Saquon out tearing that ACL, he's been seeing a minimal. This is the least. He saw 10 attempts, and he has 5 touchdowns in the last 4 of his games, which is incredible. 2 touchdowns one game, and then 1 every other game. That's really, really consistent. Something incredibly hard to find in a running back, especially in the waiver wire. Running backs are hard to find, but this late in the season, there's almost none. And I think he'll be the lead back. He's a league winner. He has production to get a ton of points. Pick him up. That's all I gotta say. I think him and Naheem Hines are 2 of the players you want to pick up. Cole Beasley, a wide receiver on the Bills, and I've liked Cole Beasley. I've always kind of had my eye on him. I picked him up. He didn't play that well. I didn't start him. Was gonna see if he played well because I have Stephon Diggs. I usually don't like starting 2 of the same players on the same team unless it's obviously 2 incredible players. But he had an incredible game against the Cardinals secondary. I believe he had 27.9. Don't quote me on that, but he was really good. With John Brown back, I know it's another receiver that's taking away targets. John Brown, obviously that deep threat, taking players downfield. Beasley has a lot of the middle open, and now he's that wide receiver 3 there, which I know that might sound bad, but there's no really secondary in the NFL that has a solid wide receiver or solid slot or third cornerback. And Cole Beasley is a solid receiver. He gets a lot of targets. And on the high end, he get 11 receptions per game. You add that to the yards he gets from those receptions, that's 15 a game without a touchdown, which is really, really good. He's a mid-route receiver. He's getting a lot of those check down passes, a lot of those short yardage gains with a touchdown there. I'm seeing a lot of consistent games. I think he's definitely a viable flex option in some of those bigger leagues. I love Cole Beasley here. I think he's always been a good receiver. I've had my eye on him. He had a stretch of consistent games and had a couple bad ones. Now he should be going back on that stretch. And with playoffs coming, if he's having consistent games, you got to pick him up. He as well is on a bye. I know you guys might be getting mad at me, 2 bye players, but pick them up now. Wait a week, see how they play, and then go on from there. Cole Beasley, last player from the waiver wire. Definitely go pick him up. That was it for my Week 11 waiver wire ads. Go get these players. As well, as I say every video, comment down below fantasy advice, sit, start, over, under. More waiver wire pickups if some of these players aren't available. If any of them are available, we have more. And definitely, if you guys want to see on the website, you want to see, articles of a lot of players, a lot of waiver wire players, more than 10, more than we have in this video, let us know. We can get those out. And as well, if you did enjoy, make sure to subscribe and go like. This is, besides our NFL predictions, one of our most popular series. So if you do enjoy and you made it to the end, it really does mean a lot. I know you might not think, but if you could go subscribe, it really does mean the world to us. As well, as I said so much, go check out the website. It should be up, linked in the description down below. Go click on it. Let us know what you think. There's a live chat. We should be on it most of tomorrow so we can have a conversation. And let us know if you want to write an article. We'll have a section on the website where we have supporters articles. Write about football, fantasy, anything like that. And we'll make sure to post it, and you'll definitely get shouted out on our Instagram, on our YouTube, for people who write articles and are involved in the channel. And yeah, comment, subscribe, all the usual. We'll see you on our next video. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck in fantasy this week. We'll see you in the next one.